Dick. One of the Parthenon sculptures, or the Elgin marbles if you're less politically correct, has left Britain for the first time since they were brought here in the 19th century. But the statue of a river god, more than 2,000 years old, is not being returned to Athens, but has just been unveiled in St. Petersburg. It'll go on display in the Hermitage Museum as part of their 250th birthday celebrations. The marbles were liberated, acquired, stolen by Lord Elgin, who was British ambassador at the time, and the Greeks want them back. But Neil McGregor, the director of the British Museum, said he hoped Greece would be very pleased that a new section of the public will engage with them. He was asked on the Today programme how he thought the decision would be received in Greece.
Well, the Greek government, I hope, will be delighted. I hope that they'll be very pleased that a huge new public can engage with the great achievements of ancient Greece. People who will never be able to come to Athens or to London will now, here in Russia, understand something of the great achievement.
Neil McGregor. Athanasiou Halalari is Research Associate at the Hellenic Observatory at the LSE and specialises in the study of modern Greek society. Do you think people in Greece will be as pleased as the director of the British Museum suggested?
Hello. No, I don't think so. Actually, the Greek media, which in this case I think that they represent the public opinion, have very accurately demonstrating the dissatisfaction of the Greek part of what the British Museum has decided to do. So I don't think they're very pleased.
Some people have said it's rude and provocative.
I would agree that it is indeed provocative, the reason being that unfortunately there are double standards followed here by the British Museum regarding the Elgin marbles. Greece has been officially requesting the marbles to return back home since 1982. This has never been the case. All attempts have been disregarded. And for the first time, the British Museum has decided to loan part of the exhibition to another museum. Of course, it is excellent that more people have access to the Greek heritage, and of course we are honored if this is happening. However, this is not the problem. The problem is that the marbles have left Britain, although Britain has been explaining to Greeks that one of the reasons why they're not going back home because it wasn't safe for the marbles to leave the British Museum.
Well, I imagine they think you wouldn't give them back.
Of course not. Why would we give back something that belongs to us? You see, it's not a matter that someone is paying for something and something is bought. It's actually a matter of part of one of the most important heritages in human history has been destroyed. And this is because part of this heritage, I refer of course to the Parthenon, actually has moved in a quite brutal way to the British Museum.
I suppose it's an issue, isn't it, for museums all over the world, because if you could only display stuff that was found in your own country, that would change the nature of the museums that we do have, certainly in the States and in Britain and in France.
This is absolutely correct. I totally agree with you. However, in this case, it is not a matter of one statue or one painting to return back home. It's a matter that part of a heritage is missing. So what actually Greeks are asking is for the marbles of the Parthenon to become reunited rather than for a piece of art to come back to where it was created.
Is it something that people, ordinary people in Greece, feel strongly about, or is it sort of an argument of the elite and the government?
Actually, it is one of the few issues that Greeks would agree on. You see, the British Museum has disregarded completely the importance of the Greek heritage and the importance of these marbles for the Greek history and the way that Greeks feel about it. The Acropolis Museum was built exactly for the purposes of hosting these particular marbles. Of course, they never returned back. Every time each Greek visiting this particular museum or Acropolis, every time we feel that something important is missing.
Very briefly, do you think you'll ever get them back?
I doubt it.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much indeed.
Moment of frankness brings us to today's closing headlines. An investigation by BBC News has uncovered serious errors in the way the health regulator, the CQC, used data to rate more than 7,000 GP practices. 60 surgeries were wrongly identified as being of high concern. The High Court has ruled the government's ban on prisoners in England and Wales receiving books from friends and families is unlawful. Owen James, who served 20 years for murder and is now a writer, said books helped him enormously.
I was sent a book from South America called Prisoners of Honour about the Dreyfus affair. I'd never even heard of Alfred Dreyfus. And I read this book, and it was like a history book. It was amazing. It's a story of survival and truth and justice and morality. And, I was a moral bankrupt when I went to prison. And that was just one book that helped me to figure out who I was.
An unmanned US space capsule that could one day take people to Mars has blasted off on a test mission. The Orion craft will orbit the Earth, then splash down in the Pacific Ocean to see whether it can withstand the heat of re-entry. In the city, a short time ago, the 100 share index was up 49 points at 6729. The weather, it will be bright and breezy with showers in the northwest and snow over northern hills. It'll be fine in the southeast. This lunchtime, the Royal Television Society is handing out its first Legends Award at a lunch in the House of Lords. The recipient, Cilla Black, has enjoyed a 50-year-long career in TV, reputedly become the most highly paid entertainer on the box. So it'll be no surprise we'll end The World at One with one of her greatest hits.